What's going on, traders? Andrew O'Connell here with Pristine Capital. We just made it through quad witching, and I was just listening to the new Drake album. So now I'm pumped for this market recap video. Let's dive into everything that happened today. And we did have energy stocks that finally broke out of their bullish trend. We're going to start off with our box scores. By the way, if you're interested in the long-term investing product, that is good to go. Feel free to sign up on the website, pristinecapital.net. We had some people that were interested, that were trying to get on. If you sign up this weekend, I will go ahead and onboard you myself. All right, so let's dive in. Box scores. We had the S&P 500 finish up 0.22% today. We had the NASDAQ QQQ finishing up 1.22%. We had our IWM small caps finishing up 0.78%. Our dogs of the Dow Jones were a big time laggard today, down 0.16%. And our ARK Innovation ETF up 4.92%. And guess what? I'm still long my ARK Innovation January 2023 calls. Let's go. Volatility did have a dip today, which is great. Pretty much most of these indices closed towards the middle end of their day's range. And would you look at that, the most duration sensitive assets, which are the NASDAQ and the ARK Innovation ETF, they close towards the upper end of their range. Breadth was positive across the board, and you can see the breadth in the small caps was 74%. And we finished out the day with 57.1% up volume. That said, my trend model is still at a -3. We did see that the energy names completely broke their trend today. So this market sell-off, we had cryptos were the first victims, growth stocks, SPACs, next victims. Then we just had FANG stocks, pretty much everything else selling off, and energy stocks were the last soldier. The generals, if you will. We thought the generals were the FANG stocks. The generals were actually energy, and those stocks really took a licking today. It is almost as if, I'm just going to put this out there might be some news coming out that we are not currently aware of. Take a look at this. Our crude oil month-to-date performance, now WTI crude is down 5.64%, and that is compared to a 12% monthly gain for the month of May. So as we get this next inflation print, it's likely going to be a deceleration if we stay anywhere around these levels for crude oil, and that is good for the ARK Innovation ETF. It's good for growth stocks, all that good stuff, and that's where I'm currently positioned in the market. Finviz Heat Map, you can see exactly that. Energy stocks took a big licking, but pretty much everything else did pretty well. Amazon was a relative outperformer within these mega cap tech stocks. One of our members took a really nice options trade in Amazon today out until July, so shout out to him. Sectors, take a look at our map here. KWEB, these Chinese technology stocks, they remain in our top momentum slot, and we can see that our EMQQ is in our number 2 slot, very highly correlated with KWEB, and our solar energy stocks resumed their dominance in the number 3 slot. You'll notice if you watched yesterday's recap video, I added one of the front runners within that group because our dark index dashboard showed us, hey, dark pool buyers, they're accumulating these solar stocks, and on a trending basis, they actually look the best out of many of these sector groups. And today we got a really nice move for those stocks. Yesterday, I'm not gonna lie, kind of felt like an idiot for buying end phase, but today it ended up working out. You can see those solar stocks closed towards the upper end of their day's range. What were some other solid performers we had? The SPAC ETF did all right. ARK Genomics, and you can see what's really interesting. Energy was down 5.47%. How quick something can go from one of the top momentum slots all the way towards the bottom. Style factors, we had our growth style factor finish up 0.94%. Our high beta style factor finish up 1.78%. Now let's go into our indices before I show you what I traded via common stock. S&P 500, take a look here. Basically, we just put in a little doji candle. We're certainly not out of the woods yet on the index level, although in my opinion, we pretty much are, because crude oil was the big fly in the ointment. And with lower energy prices comes lower inflation expectations, and with lower inflation expectations comes a more dovish Fed, and with a more dovish Fed comes stonks going up. So we'll have to see. Anything can happen. I'm always open to being wrong, but yeah. That being said, I think today was a pretty solid day in the market, and you can see we're pretty much right on this teal downward trend line. If we were able to reclaim 3,800, that would be a pretty solid finish for next week. All right, let's take a look at our NASDAQ. NASDAQ, again, nice performer today. Although this candle, does it really change anything? No, not really. We're just kind of in this like 4 or 5 day consolidation. But keep in mind, as we mentioned previously, there's only, I believe it's like 10 more trading days in the month of June. We do have some heavy month-end rebalancing flows that are going to be coming into equities at a time when most investors have either zero positioning or very little in the way of positioning. Russell 2000, again, decent performance, nothing compared to yesterday's decline. In our dogs of the Dow, these are old economy stocks. These really lag behind today. You can see the dogs of the Dow put in a red candle. Take a look here at energy. So crude didn't close quite on the lows, but you can see we closed just a hair below the 50-day simple moving average. And now we are trading inside of this monthly value area. The only short position that I have on the books is I am currently short DBC, and that is the commodities ETF. Now I added this short, I'm long puts that expire in October, and I added them, I want to say I added them like on one of these candles over here. So honestly, I did add them a bit early, but that's why when I have like a longer term view, I tend to, if I do decide to play with options, I'll get options that expire maybe like 4 months in the future, 6 months, a year, etc. And now today, those actually turned green. But you can see the commodities ETF pulled right back to this top of value, undercut it, and we did close above value. So who knows, maybe we get like a retest of this 20-day, then we fall back over. But I think this trend, it's starting to look like it's busted. So we'll see. And then take a look here. Here were my trades for today. Oh wait, this is our liquid stocks and uptrends. I always send this out to clients every day. This is just like a scan that I do. Now that I just happen to open this up, really interesting. As of, even just a couple days ago, we had like 70 to 90 energy stocks that were in uptrends. Now across my entire universe, there's only 17 names. So yeah, definitely a huge washout within the market. But let's go over here and we'll take a look at my common stock trades. Take a look at this. Yeah, this was from yesterday. I got long Roblox. And today I took an exit in Roblox. So I closed this out for $26.95. I had paid $25.40. That's about like a 5 to 6% gain on this position in one day. And I said, I think this name could continue to move much higher into July with the other growth stocks, but I was really just playing this for a quick scalp. I do have my core names. If you're watching these videos, you know my core names. If you're a Pristine Capital active trading member, you can see all my open positions. So you can just clear as day, see what I'm long. And then Global E, I had sold the June 17th 25 strike calls against my long common stock. I collected 27 cents, no big deal. But those calls that I sold against my common stock position, those expired worthless. I just put here, if the high growth stocks rally into July, I'm going to look for another opportunity to sell calls against my stock. Global E, I think this is going to be a double bagger for me just based off of where I bought it. My trade location was stellar. And this was at a time when most people were like, you can't buy stocks, they're too risky. But it really depends on which group of stocks you're buying. And this one, I have, a high degree of conviction. Let's put it that way, that if I hold this thing for a year, 2 years, etc., it's probably going to be a decent winner. Very strong fundamentals. All right, take a look here, common stock. And then options. I have some DLO, December 16, 25 strike calls, and I sold some June 17, 35 strike calls against those. I was able to collect 60 cents for this. This was before those growth names blew up again, and now my cost based on my original position is only $5.20. And so that's a great thing. When a lot of those names pulled back, I made sure when they ripped higher, I started selling calls against my positions, and then it allowed me to pick up some premium while they kind of languished for a little bit there. Seasonality, definitely keep an eye on this. I have to update this right here, but June, the seasonality is absolutely dreadful. You can see you kind of fall off a cliff here seasonality wise, but then July is the best seasonal month of the year. For everyone that's getting like super bearish since the end of June, I mentioned the other day, I think those players are probably going to regret it, but we'll have to see. Before we end off, we're pretty much right at that 10-minute mark. You can see like Enphase got some redemption today. DigitalOcean of 4.98% popping out of value once again. And Global E popping out. So stay tuned. If you're a Pristine Capital member, you're going to get a weekend watch list video from me. You're also going to get a weekend market analysis video from me as well. If you're not a member, what are you doing? Just go to pristinecapital.net. Get yourself signed up. Looking forward to working with you. Hope you all have an awesome weekend.